This summer, we got a look inside the day-to-day world of our Taking Action Against Domestic Violence Officer of the Year.
There were many times in my career that I responded as a street police officer to a domestic violence case, and there's only so much I could do.
That visit to City Hall was followed weeks later with a look into ours.
Ashley, this is
Hi, Ashley.
Kim Bogart.
Very nice to meet
He's
you.
the
My
chief of
pleasure.
police.
We invited Newport Richey's police chief, Kim Bogart, to meet our team on both sides of the camera, working to raise community awareness of domestic violence since 2009. From the TV side of the house to the web to social media, our staff poured into the newsroom to meet Bogart, our first police chief chosen officer of the year. This hero to many in Pasco, bringing his own hero to ABC Action News, his Uncle Paul, the man who inspired him to become a police officer, and so much more.
It's just green paint. Yeah,
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
The chief's constant smile and sunny disposition was disarming, giving up no clues of what was to come later when we sat down with the chief to talk about his childhood.
We lived in mostly rural areas, so there was a lot of farmland there.
It was a slice of Americana, quiet, almost Rockwell-esque, he says, but Kim's family portrait had a dark side. His father, Ken.
There was always violence in the house. My dad, everyone was afraid of him.
Kim was born in upstate New York in 1952, the second oldest of 5 siblings. Kim says his earliest memories surrounded the turbulence his father left in his wake. His mother, Elaine, the first target of his physical abuse.
There were no spouse abuse shelters. She wanted to hang on to the kids. No matter what, she was going to put up with whatever she had to do to keep those kids together.
Soon, he says, the abuse turned to the children.
It was rare for the belt. He actually had a rubber hose that he used, and that was probably the worst of it all. He'd line us up, and I'd be first.
Kim, born with a protective nature, always got in line first, hoping to wear his father out so he wouldn't go down the line to the others. Ask him about it, and you find the police badge doesn't make a man invincible to the things that still haunt him when he was a boy.
I couldn't stand to see the other children hurt.
His most vivid childhood memory is one, despite his best efforts, he still can't shake.
My dad was around the back of the house, and he discovered a knife in the crook of a tree where the tip was broken off of it.
It was one of the good kitchen knives. Always the protector, Kim lied and said it was him and took the beating.
And he can tell that I'm lying. So he whips me again for lying.
Telling the story, Kim still breaks when it comes time to explain why his dad stopped beating him all those years ago. His youngest brother, Kelly, confessed. What happened next broke his heart.
Dad pulled him out, and then he shoved Kelly's hand in my hand and put the rubber hose in my other hand. And his hands are on top of mine now. We're holding on to Kelly the same way he had been holding on to me, only I'm in Dad's position and he's behind me. And he physically made me whip Kelly like he had whipped me. And it was horrible. That has always haunted me. How could anybody beat their brother like that?
The generational illness his father tried to pass on that day would not take hold. His father eventually left. His mother, in and out of abusive relationships, led Kim to leave home at 16. Almost a senior in high school, he lived out of a beat-up car. Struggling financially and in school came a pivotal moment. The people who would change the course of Kim Bogart's life. Hero number 1, his high school principal, who searched for and found Kim a legal guardian so he could stay in school.
If he hadn't have done that, I'd have had to quit school.
Graduation did not bring much relief. Kim's mother and 4 siblings were now living in Florida, and he had no way to get there. Kim did the unthinkable, returning to his father's apartment and his violence.
Some guy that stayed up above us, a doctor that lived up there, he apparently heard all the fights.
A man he'd never met. That is, until the day Kim packed his car to leave for good, heading to Mom in Florida. But his car wouldn't start. Life-changing moment number 2 came right then and there thanks to that neighbor upstairs.
He came down, and I was still working on my car, and he took me to go buy some parts and gave me some cash and told me to get to Florida.
Kim never got his name, but got to Tampa, and soon he found hero number 3 in the most unexpected place, his father's brother. Uncle Paul was a Tampa police officer and Kim's first positive male role model.
So he started looking into it, and I told him I'd do anything I could to help him.
First of all, I thought I could never be one. I really lacked confidence. And I said, how could a kid that grew up like me ever be a police officer?
A year later, Kim became that police officer, and the rest, as they say, is not just history, it's Kim's story. How the cycle of abuse is broken when people stop to care. The chief wants his police officers to be those people.
I'm hoping that there are kids out there who say, that guy, he lived through some pretty rough things, but look what he did.
Kim needed a hero, so that's what he became.